Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to Build Your Best Life. I'm Coach Deborah, and I am so excited to have you here for Blueprint for Success. I have a guest that I am so delighted to have on today, Miss Shabrina Thomas. How are you?
Hi, I'm very good, and thank you for having me this evening.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So we're going to hear more from her in a minute. But again, thank you all so much for tuning in today. You know, we love, love, love when you pray for us, when you do send those shares, likes, and comments. We love it, love it, love it. So thank you all for everything that you do for Build Your Best Life. Again, it's Blueprint for Success today. This month, our theme for this month is Blueprint for Resources. It doesn't matter if it's education, health, finances, we're trying to go to school, get a scholarship, whatever it is, there are resources for it. But sometimes people don't know what they don't know. They don't know how to get different resources or anything. But hey, they're there. So all of this month, we're having different people from different areas to tell us information and provide resources that will be helpful. And when I sent out this message today, I told you this is a trending topic. And you may not guess from my topic, but if you look at the acronym of what it is, you'll figure it out. But a little bit later, we'll talk about that. But I want Shabrina to please tell us all about herself, what she loves to do, and her blueprint for success.
Hi, everyone. My name is Shabrina Thomas. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I currently am a mom. I am a business owner, and I am the president of the Association of Black Social Workers. So I'll take it back. I currently am I own Florida Clinical Solutions Academy. So I provide individual and family counseling for children and adults. And then I also am the president of Association of Black Social Workers. We advocate for minorities and making sure that we are getting out the word on mental health, as well as spreading the word on local issues in our community that needs to be addressed, like education, poverty, food deserts, those type of things. So if you're ever interested, you can look us up on our website. It is abswjax.org. And then my personal website is flclinicalsa.com.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I should have asked you earlier, but make sure that you put your information in the chat, and at the end, I will make sure I put it on the screen and it'll be in the comments where people can go back and get that, because that is some vital information. Um, so thank you so much. Again, I'm so glad to have you on here. Good evening, Dan. And I'm so glad to have my daughter on here, Lenora, Agnes. Thank you all for tuning in. And I know, I not think, but I know you're going to enjoy this today. But as I was stating earlier, there are all types of things that go on. We see these commercials and all this stuff on TV. People have HPV, psoriasis, COVID, cancer, obesity, infertility, all types of things. Anxiety, depression, anorexia, all those things kind of fit in together. But normally, if those topics begin to come up, the subject suddenly changes, or you'll see people drop their heads because they don't want to talk about those type things. And all those things are related to our mental health. And Shabrina is very, very astute in this area and is able to provide resources and help us. So first of all, can you tell our audience what mental health is and how it impacts one's well-being?
Okay, so I'm gonna use an analogy. We like to think of mental health as let's think of our mental health as a car. When we have a car, we know that there are things that we have to keep our car moving. We got to have gas in the car, or for those who have electric, got to plug it in. We also know that we need to make sure that we have our maintenance. We need to make sure we got our, like I said, gas. You got to make sure you have your oil changed. You need to make sure you get your tires changed yearly. So think of your mental health as that. So when we have mental health, sometimes what we think about it is that our our body, our brain, our body is missing something that causes us to have a mental health technique, not say breakdown, but change in our mental health. So think of it that way. As we have this whole conversation, think of your body, your mind, everything that's going on with you as a car, as we're going through this conversation.
Okay, great. And I was so excited to get started. I forgot to tell y'all about this topic that I came up with for today. And it is making an effort to notice traits actively lurking. So I briefly met Miss Thomas when we had our family experience this summer. And, one of the things we wanted parents to take away from that session was what things to look out for. Because, as I stated earlier, a lot of times you don't know what you don't know. So, if you don't know what to look for, then your child or yourself, someone you work with, you cannot offer them any help if you don't know what's going on. So a lot of that is noticing those traits. So that's what my making efforts to notice traits actively lurking. So that's where I came up with that from. But I think it is safe to say, again, you don't know what you don't know. And sometimes people may have something going on. It may be their physical health, their mental health. A lot of times they don't want people to know, but sometimes something is going on and they may overlook it because they just don't know. Or they know, but then they want to, sometimes if you don't call something out, you think it'll disappear or it's not as bad as all of that. So, maybe nobody will notice, nothing will happen. But in your professional position, do you find that it is more of people not knowing the signs, or they choose to overlook the signs that something is not quite right?
It's a little bit of both. Sometimes we don't know what is going on in our lives, and we're able to understand. So let me, like I was giving the example of a car. When you have your car needs an oil change, it may prompt you on your dashboard, hey, something's wrong, you might want to get it fixed. Same thing with your body, your mind, anything. So we know that most people, they have certain areas in their life. That's the home life, work life, and school life. I always add in school, because not only do when I talk, I speak from adults and I speak from children's point of view as well. So this information is not just for adult life; it's also for teenagers, young children, of all ages. Okay, so if you know that you're having an issue in not just one part of your life, you having it in multiple parts of your life, and it seems to be a pattern. That's the thing that we kind of neglect and not realize that we're having an issue. So if we're having an issue at work, can't finish assignments, turn them in on deadlines, even at school, behaviors acting out in school, or even at home. At home, you're staying in your bed all the time. You don't want to get anything done. You can't wash the dishes. You're struggling to have a relationship with your kids, your family, your husband, your wife, any one of those things. That's when you know there's something off. That's where that check engine light comes on in your brain and your body. And so you got to figure out, how do I prepare it? Like, how do I get this fixed? Right. And so there's 4 categories in our lives that we need to always remember to keep full. So like I said, the car, right? I keep talking about the car because I really want you to understand that of the car, right? So we got the oil change. So think of an oil change like your physical health, right? If we are not physically fit, we might break down, right? We might be feeling some pain. We might start to not want to eat. We might eat unhealthy, and we can feel it physically, right? So then we have our social battery, right? Where we're talking about where we're hanging out with friends or having a relationship with our kids, our family, and we're not doing those things anymore. That kind of is an indication that, hey, I might need to check that engine. I might need to check what's going on in that part of my life and get that together. Then the other part is our own spiritual, emotional well-being. Have you been to church lately? Have you prayed? Have you kind of meditated? And sometimes this is the area that we kind of neglect the most, because we're moving so fast that we're forgetting that sometimes we might just need to sit alone with ourselves, sit alone with God, sit alone and just kind of take it all in. Now, when you said, do people kind of veer from it, don't really pay attention to it, they see it, but they ignore it. They don't want to face the fact that there's a mental health issues. And that's where anxiety comes in a little bit, where you're anxious, you're nervous a lot, because you know it's there, but you're so afraid to deal with the issues that you have been hiding and putting under the covers and pushing to the side, that all of a sudden you ain't got no other choice but to deal with it. So that's like when you when you don't have no other choice to deal with it, let's call that the blowout, or the car just won't start.
Mm.
You have completely ran out of gas. It won't turn over. The engine won't turn over. You know you can't get to wherever you got to go. Same thing with your body, your mind. You can't go nowhere. So that is where we have to start saying, okay, well, how do I fix this, right? And it's not a, so just like the car, we might need to go, call someone and say, hey, I need to fix a, can you come change my tire? Same thing with going to, speaking with a therapist, or talking to a friend, or talking to someone to get that load which we have inside out of us. So then we have the engine where it just completely broke down and shifted, and no one wants to talk about, why we see a psychiatrist. That is usually when you're same thing with the car analogy, where we have completely ran out of gas and we can't do any, like our car just won't start. It just needs to go in the garage. Somebody really got to give it some TLC. So that's where medication comes in, and someone is kind of helping you turn your car, your battery, your mental health around, giving you a jump start so you can start to function and move through life, your areas of life back to normal.
Oh wow. Now that's putting it in terms I think everybody can understand. That was so awesome. Hey, what can I say? That is, oh my goodness. And it's just, I won't say it's scary, but I read, I see different things. I have someone that's close to me that's dealing with it. And so it's just, it's just amazing that, sometimes we don't know what to look for. And then when something happens, it's like, oh, well, maybe I could have made a difference. So we need to find out what, get that resource. What is it that we can know ahead of time so we can be proactive? No, we're not a therapist. We're not trying to be a therapist or anything like that. But we may can, have an intervention or something. So whatever we can do to help.
Yes, so I agree with you. So yeah, there are so many things that we can do for our mental health. And we always think, oh, we need to go sit on someone's couch and talk to someone. No, you can really jumpstart your mental health by going to take a walk, writing in a journal, praying. Like these are simple things that we forget to do. And if it works, great. But if it you keep trying these things and it doesn't work, then that's when we might want to go talk to a therapist or see a psychiatrist when you know that the small things haven't worked. Some of the other things is I will start like these are some resources that you can do. Um, YouTube. YouTube, look up some relaxation techniques, right? So most of the time we're anxious, so we're trying to figure out what to do. Look up some and like relaxation techniques. The one that I love to talk about the most is 5 4 3 2 1. That includes all your senses. And that's
Mm.
like your hearing, your feeling, your smell, taste, and your feels, your feeling, your senses. So we use our senses to help us get back to the things that help us get back to normal. Also, when it comes to depression, um, I already mentioned journaling. Sometimes we might need to do something that is so simple as do something we like that we enjoy. I enjoy reading. And sometimes I get so bogged down in life that I forget to pick up a book and read a book. And then when I read a book, and I might be the most cliche woman out there, but I love a romance novel. And I'll get into that romance novel and I just want to read it, and it makes me feel so good. I thought I close that book, I'm smiling. My children can come talk to me. I'm like, hey, what's up, y'all? And it ain't nothing happened. It's just made me feel good. So finding those small things in life that literally gives you enjoyment. Someone told me a chocolate bar helps them enjoy life. Eat the chocolate bar if it makes you happy, if it makes you feel good. Sometimes we hear the doctor say, well, you don't need all that chocolate, you don't need all that sweet. But from time to time, if it just puts a smile on your face and makes your mood change in that small moment, just do it.
Ooh, that sounds good. I got one of my sisters on here. I see Anita. She does affirmations, and she has me doing affirmations. I can't do them almost like she does. I mean, she just flows with them. But I found that to be so relaxing. And then I found, because she has cards, she has everything, she makes them up herself. But I was able to share with someone that's close to me that's going through a lot, and I was able to share those with them. And I needed to hear that today or whatever. So it there, like you say, there are different things, and I find myself, I'll just be on the computer all day, all day. I told you I was sick, and I was like, you know what? I think that was just God telling me I had to rest because I will not stop. And from the time I get up, get dressed, I'm in here. I'm from the computer to the iPad over there to the laptop, and I'm back and forth. And sometimes I don't stop to eat lunch to 2 or 3. I might finish at 7:30 or 8, and then. But when I finish, I get my iPad and I'm either read like you. I'm either gonna read a book or get my puzzles and I'll do a puzzle. But that just relaxes me.
Yes, the puzzles. That's my favorite. That's my mother-in-law's favorite. She loves puzzles. Um and she stays with us. So like she has a little area that she has puzzles that she build. When I know she's in that puzzle moment, I just know there's something going on, and that's the way she going to get to kind of work it out. I actually read Michelle Obama's book, and she was talking about over the over the pandemic, one of the things that helped her with anxiety was doing things that with her hands. So she did a lot of baking and a lot of cooking. Those all are techniques to help you with your mental health. No one, like I said, no one says these things help, but they actually do. Um, I can't bake to save my life. I don't like to cook. That probably won't never be mine. But but if you love to bake, just yeah, someone put in the chat word searches. Absolutely. Those
Mhm.
things are absolutely something that can help with your mental health. Any of those things. So I agree with you on that one.
Yeah, and even so, smile. Yeah, because that, because you can be like, oh, like if you down or whatever, and somebody passes by you and they smile. Now you got to be really tight up if you don't smile back.
Hmm.
See, so smiling, I think that's a good one. It helps you probably, and it can also help someone else. And then I think I saw a nature walk too.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
And
it's some
animals too. I forgot all about that. Puppies, dogs, those just doing that. Babies put everybody in a good mood. I don't know about everybody else, but babies definitely make you feel all warm and fuzzy in the inside.
yeah. I agree with that one. Okay, here's another one. Painting. Yeah, I never thought
Mhm.
about that. That's a good one.
Mhm.
Yeah. So you've right there, you've given us some food for thought because some of us probably didn't even think about these things that we love to do and then think, yeah, that does relax me.
Right. And like I said, you'll know when it's that time to pull out one of your activities when you've reached that exhaustion level, right? And you can't get through the day, or you just need a little bit of something to kind of get you back. So how do you know that it's become excessive when it comes to your mental health, where you know that okay, this is I tried the painting, I tried the word search, I tried walking, I tried praying, and everything is not getting better. That's usually when things are going that way for weeks at a time, right? Now you've done
Mm.
tried some things on your own and weeks, and things have just not seemed to have turned around. That's when I would say start to kind of reach out and start and talk to a therapist to start with. You don't have to go straight to medications, but definitely trying to get a therapist to see if they can help you with some techniques of what's going on. Um, when mental health reaches a place of that high peak, there is something that some unresolved issues in our past that we have not managed to figure out, or there's something going on in our present that we just can't seem to get over that hump. um so how do we know that we're dealing with some mental health issues in the current present, right?
Mm.
And I'll give you an example for some anxiety, and I'll give you some examples for depression. For depression, if you ain't brushed your teeth in a couple of days, you haven't taken a bath in a couple of days, you normally talk to your best friend 2 and 3 times a day, and you haven't talked to them a week, and you looking at the phone ring and you don't want to even want to pick it up. You haven't walked out the door in a while. You might be start wearing those hoodies like the kids do, wearing sweaters, and you are loading yourself up with junk food, or you won't even eat at all, right? Those are the signs that hey, I might be dealing with something way more greater than what's going on in my everyday life. So with anxiety, anxiety is a completely different monster, right? We're anxious all the time, right? And anxiety feels like a pit in your stomach that you just can't seem to get out. It's almost like feeling like you want to throw up all the time and it just won't come out. You try to put something in your mouth and you might gag a little bit. So that's how you know that you're dealing with anxiety. And another tip is, I know when I'm anxiety and I'm feeling anxious, I get flush red. Like it's like a heat that overwhelms your body, and you have to learn how to pick up or feel these signs, because sometimes we overlook those things, but you with anxiety, it's clear. It'll slap you across your face and you don't know what to do with it. And usually when you're dealing with anxiety, we want to get rid of those feelings. We don't want to deal with them, so we might turn to substance abuse, might want to have a couple drinks of alcohol. You might want to unfortunately use drugs to kind of mask those feelings. That's another sign that we're dealing with something larger than just depression and anxiety, that writing and painting won't deal with. And that's when we would recommend that you reach out to a practitioner, talk to your primary care doctor. I would also like to say that if you're employed, talk to your employer about what we call employee assistance program. And those programs are offered even if you don't have their health insurance. They have those programs, and they'll provide counseling 3 to 5 sessions for free for you to talk to someone licensed, a therapist of any that kind. Um, I will also, look up community resources. There are organizations out here. We're in the Jacksonville area mental health resource center. They have a sliding scale, so even if you can't afford counseling, you can go there, and it'll be based off your income, and that's how much you'll pay. But yes, and then thank God that health insurance is kind of starting to become so much better and really focus on mental health, where you don't even have co-pays for mental health anymore with certain insurance plans. So we used to have to pay it like a specialty care visit. So you
Mhm.
might have to pay that $50-$70 for a mental health counseling session, and you would want to go at least once a week, and it's not even that way anymore. So it's free. So there are definitely free resources out there. You might have to do a little bit of digging to find it, but it is available. And you can find it. And if all fails, talk to your pastor, and see what your pastor, he or she may have, and what they have, because sometimes our churches have resources and people there to speak with you and talk to you. And if they know that they can't manage it, they know where to send you as well. We forget that our churches are resource centers. And we always think, oh, we just go to church and you're just gonna learn about God. No, they're here to help us manage our everyday life, down to anything we can think of. That is why there are leaders. They're not trying to punish or put us in places that we're not successful. So definitely start utilizing our church services for additional help and support when we're having a hard time.
Okay, those are good. So, do you have any other traits that may pop out to people around you before you even notice something's going on?
Um, the way they look, their mannerism. So if I'm talking to someone and you talk to them all the time, and all of a sudden they're not engaging in conversation with you, and they don't look themselves. Hey, are you okay? Is there something going on? It's okay to ask that question. As therapists, we've always been taught through school and throughout life, do ask a question directly. Are you suicidal? Are you thinking about killing yourself? We're always going to take the on forward approach. We're not going to beat around the bush. We're not going to kind of do that. But you can ask people those questions, because they'll be honest with you and they'll tell you. And when things get to that way, where people are really thinking about suicide, I would recommend kind of getting someone, a professional, involved, right? Because we want that's a that's a delicate subject. So that point, you can reach out to and the non-emergency phone number. So I'll say that, call the non-emergency phone number, not directly 911 unless they're actively trying to kill themselves. I call the non-emergency number, and there's at least here in Duval County, there is a team dedicated to suicide prevention. So not only does a police officer comes out, but a social worker of any type, mental health counselor, also comes with that officer out, and they assess you to figure out what's the best option and what's the best recourse. So that is one thing that I will say that Duval County is working on and trying to work better at doing. Also, if you have kids, talk to the school guidance counselor. They'll tell you what to do when it comes to children. For Duval County school students, they have a new thing out here called Wellness Wednesdays, where they're teaching children how to manage their emotions, definitely in elementary. And they kind of do something big in middle school and high school. And even on their focus account, they have a tab where you can request mental health counseling services. So like I said, I am not just talking about mental health with adults. These are things and tips for children as well, because sometimes we think because they're children, they don't have issues or they're not struggling with something. Yeah, they do. They definitely do. And we don't need to brush it off because we were kids and we had to deal with it. That's not how we should move forward in our lives, especially in our children's life. We should make sure that they are heard and they are respected, and that they know that there are resources out there for them as well. Because we have to remember our kids, unlike us, they grew up in a pandemic. So they were behind computer screens for a majority 2 3 years, two almost 2 years, and then all of a sudden they're dropped back in the regular classroom and expected to act normal and proceed with life like nothing happened. um that's kind of hard. Imagine, just being outside of your normal environment, and then all of a sudden said, okay, well, I need you to go back to work and do everything that you want to. There's going to be struggles, so please check on your children, make sure they're doing okay. Ask them about their friends, ask them about how school's going, how their classes are going. Ask them, you know, is there anything that I can do as a parent to help you, or even your grandchildren? Is there anything I can do to help? Because if you have open communication with your children, they'll tell you. They want to be heard. So we
Right.
need to make sure that we are talking and listening to not only ourselves, our bodies, but our kids as well.
Yeah, and it's I think I saw her on here earlier, but one my guest is on here regularly, one of my friends, she a lot of times we don't we know what bothers us and other adults, and we forget about children. But she brought up the point, like sometimes you say, "Oop, I can't do this today. I got to take a mental health day," but we never think that our kids may get to that point so frustrated because their lives, of course, you mentioned some of the things, but they have way more things going on than especially my age did when I was going on. So they may need to take a mental health day too. They may need a break. Because I look at I have a fourth grader, and the schoolwork that she has, I think I had that when I was in ninth grade or whatever. I'm like, oh my goodness. So they have a lot on them. So their
Mhm.
little brains need to rest as well.
And so I have this one thing with my kids. They're allowed to take one mental health day um every quarter, but they don't know it. I know when they need it, and so they get to. I pull it when I know that they are struggling. When I know that they have been not going to sleep, they getting up late and they dragging, and I'm like, you know what, you should probably stay home with grandma today. You know, and get some rest. And you'll know that that's that day for them because they'll sleep all day and they'll lay in bed all day. And they need that. Give it to them. Or we like to play hooky and run to the mall or go shopping. Take your kid with you. They need that day too. So I agree with you that that mental health day is literally just to literally have fun instead of worried about work all the time.
That's good. Well, this is some great information. We're getting almost to the close of it, but I want to know before we get to this last segment if anyone has a question that they have for Shabrina. If you can put it in the chat. In the meantime, you've been giving us a lot of tips, but could you provide us with some tips on what to do if we feel that we or someone around us needs help due to mental health issues that are going on, that are lurking? We see those traits and we need to do something.
Okay. Well, one, talk to them. Ask them how are they feeling. Even if they may push back on you, just come from a place of kindness and love, and ask them how are they doing, what's going on, is there something that I can do to help. And if they realize like, hey, I really don't want to talk to you, tell them, hey, I know some places that can help you, and point them in those directions. Definitely, like I said, the mental health resource center, EAP programs, those are good resources. Encourage them to that they're not alone in this battle of mental health, and that there are people out here who are truly out here who wants them to succeed, and that you care about them, because at the end of the day, a lot of people who are struggling with mental health, They're thinking people don't care about them, or they they seem weak. And having a mental health problem is not a weak problem. It just means that we need to recharge. And I think we have to look at it that way. Like your battery is empty, your gas tank is empty. It needs to be refueled. Cars need to be refueled. They need to be re-energized. So think of it that way versus thinking of it as there's a problem and it, nobody wants to fix it.
Okay. All right. So I didn't see any questions. All right, going once, going twice. Okay, did you put that information in the chat that I can put up?
I'm trying to. It's telling me
Oh,
to connect to YouTube, and I'm not sure what's going on.
okay. Well, I might not type fast, but I can type. So you want to give it to me?
Yes, it is abswjax.org, and that's for the Association of Black Social Workers.
Okay.
And then my personal website is flclinicalsa.com.
Okay, that's all one word. FL Clinical.
Mm-hmm. SA. Mm-hmm. I think, hold on. Let me move to the side. There you go. There's the
Oh,
logo.
okay. Great. Okay, and it might be hard to see on the screen, but y'all can see it in the comment section and you can go back. So I hope that you will share because this has been a great, great topic, a lot of resource information. So please, please share it because I know that we are seeing a lot of mental health in all ages, but especially with our young population. So we want to get help, help, help. So please make sure that you share this information. Is there anything that you've thought of that you want to, you would like to share before you leave today? I'm not hearing you. You're on mute.
Hello.
Oh, there you go. All right.
There you go. I'm sorry. I don't know what just happened.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
you
have
said
anything you want to share?
no. Nothing else that I want to share except for thank you for having me. Sometimes with doing these podcasts, I just don't know what to say, but I just let things flow from me. Just letting the spirit take me to kind of give the information that's out there. I really hope that this information of looking at your body and your mental health as a car was helpful and a good analogy for you all to understand. And definitely spread that word and stop, and mental health is it's preventable, right? Some of the things that we can do to help us with our mental health, it starts at home, small things, and if it becomes larger and we're unable to manage it, then that's when we go and seek professional help.
Awesome. Well, thank you so very much. And don't. I know you say you like me. You got a lot on your plate, but don't be surprised if I call you to come back on because this is a topic that's real close to my heart because I just hear about it, see about it a lot. So this has really, really helped me, and I'm sure it has helped others. So I will be asking you to come back, and I'll be calling you up personally too. I need to ask you a question.
Okay, no problem. I will definitely answer your call.
All right. So thank you everyone for tuning in today. Remember, we are declaring Jeremiah 29:11 over your lives. God wants you to have prosperity. He doesn't want you to have disaster, all those other things. He wants you to have prosperity and the future that you hope for. So please design your blueprint for success based on the plans that God has for you. You got to put in the work and build your best life. And remember, building your best life is our business. That's not a slogan, it's our commitment. I love you. Be blessed. Stay safe. I look forward to seeing you on Thursday for coffee chat, and we'll be talking about your decisions. What happens with your decisions? Your decisions have a big impact on everything that you do. So thank you so very much again, Sabrina. May God bless you with everything that you're doing.
Well,
Keep doing
thank you. I appreciate it. And same to you. This is definitely a platform that's anointed by God.
Well, thank you so much. All right, everybody, be blessed. Bye bye.